I'm joined today by Mologadi Makwela, who's Head of Communications and Marketing at Sanlam Corporate. Mologadi, welcome to the channel.
Cheers, Chris. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. What I want us to talk about today is one of the aspects that needs some serious attention from everybody in the industry, and that's the communication side, especially to members with regards to this upcoming two-pot system. And I want to know from you in terms of, for example, the Sanlam Umbrella Fund, what are the sort of overall communication strategy that you guys have employed so far and the plans going forward?
So our communication strategy for the fund is basically guided by three principles. We want to educate, we want to inform, and we want to empower our members with financial confidence. So even outside of two-pot, as part of their retirement planning journey, those are the key principles we kind of follow. But as we transition to the new two-pot system, our goal is to ensure that our members are well informed, that they are supported throughout this journey. And to do so, we use multi-touch point communication approach. And it's executed through a number of platforms using multimedia content to explain the complexities of this new system and the details associated with it in a simpler language, free of jargon, in industry jargon, and also using interactive, simplified communication that speaks to the diversity of our membership base.
Thanks, Mologadi. So you spoke about different channels that you guys utilize. Can you give us a couple of examples of that?
Absolutely. So obviously, email communication is one of them, but understanding that not everybody could have access to emails. We also deploy SMS communication. We deploy WhatsApp communication. We have retirement benefits counselors as part of the umbrella fund, which are freely available to all members of the fund who can then guide and talk to members about their retirement benefits, including questions they might have on the two-pot system. Of course, also we have your contracted financial advisors that these RBCs or retirement benefits counselors can then direct members to for more extensive and holistic financial advice. So this is just one way, and we do live webinars as well, where we then bring members into the room with us, well, virtually at least, to engage on some of these topics and some of the what we see as the frequently asked questions surrounding the complexities of retirement benefits, two-pot included.
Okay, so I understand that. So what are the sort of typical questions? You're talking about frequently asked questions. What are the kind of things and concerns members are expressing?
So the primary ones that we are seeing quite a lot in our Q&A sections are, can I opt out of the system? And this is across all age groups. There are questions about, the 55-year plus, how does this system impact us? You have questions around, or the majority of it is, how's this going to work? Where's my money going? What's going to happen to my money? How much can I access? We are starting to see a lot of those come through. How do I withdraw? How do I make a withdrawal? And the withdrawal questions are also then on the other side of the question is actually, I don't even want to have this option presented to me. So you are seeing kind of almost to a certain extent a conflicting type of questions coming through, and it shows how different, in our view, it shows how there are different perspectives that come into play here, where members need to know where they stand, how this will affect them, and how do you then develop support structures to respond to these kind of questions. And as I said, our multi-touch point communication tries as far as possible to address those particular pain points.
That's also interesting. I had a conversation with one of the major retirement funds a couple of weeks ago, asking these sort of questions in terms of numbers of people that are going to, well, we're expecting to be claiming. And he talked about 60% of their membership that will be, probably accessing their savings pot. Have you guys had a similar experience? What are the sort of majority feeling on that side?
I mean, Chris, while I can't necessarily confirm a number, I can tell you that as we are preparing the system, we are anticipating an influx when the system goes live. And this is why communication and engagement, and ensuring that members understand the implications of withdrawal, whether it's tax, whether it's on their future savings journey and such. That's why this is so important, to make sure members understand that, there's value if they have an emergency to withdraw, but also how this affects them and their retirement savings going forward.
Mologadi, another question I want to ask you in terms of the effectiveness of the communication. So somebody that was previously, say, for example, set on claiming from their savings pot, having then undergone some of the communication from your side, is that changing their mindset a bit? Have you guys seen some evidence of that?
I mean, we are seeing after every communication that we distribute, I mean, we track what people are saying in response to it. We track where people are going and reading it and such. And what we are getting in feedback where members are saying, please, I want to opt out of the system. I don't want it. In our view, it's an indicator that what we are sharing currently is making an impact and is having an effect on certain people. So we use those kind of measures to say, also help us develop the next piece of content. So when somebody is saying, I want to opt out, and they do not have the option to opt out, then it necessitates us now thinking, okay, more information is required to let members know how and why they are a part of this, almost a default system, part of the system by default, so to speak.
In this information age where, information overload's a big thing. I mean, you mentioned multiple channels and all of that, and we all get so many emails and things demanding our attention. How do you guys ensure, just from a frequency perspective, that you guys don't give members overload and that they actually pay attention to what you have to say?
It's about timing, right? And I think that the frequency thereof also, together with timing, heck, something as simple as the right day, the right time of day to actually deliver that makes a big difference. So currently we have our quarterly newsletters with members. Then where there's a significant legislative change, for example, then we might do an immediate type of communication. And then we then pair that up with, we balance your written communication, if you will, with our live communication in our webinars. And then in between also, we are starting to include a lot more of text-based, your WhatsApp kind of communication, which then are shorter, right? So it creates a continuous and a consistent amount of communication, but on different platforms. And of course, with this information packaged in different kind of sizes for absorption and for ingestion, if you will, by members. And I think that kind of tempers and it manages and it balances that overload. So, where you email, you go a little bit more extensive, where on WhatsApp, it will share a bite-sized piece of information, and it might even nudge the member to go back to the more comprehensive piece of information to get into it a little bit more. And I think that creates that balance between overwhelming versus providing just enough to get the member, and done this way is to get the member to also proactively seek out that information.
Looking at the future, I mean, with obviously technology and things coming to the fore, and upping the game in terms of communication, what are the sort of things you guys got up your sleeve for the future?
Absolutely. I think we are looking technology is actually providing us a vast amount of opportunity, right? The integration of AI that enables simplified gamification, for example, to include that. I mean, we are working in a space that is not necessarily transactional, if you will. So we are competing, with banks where we are creating apps, but because we are not doing it's not an everyday type of thing. So how do you get members to engage and to feel that they can interact and they should be interacting with the system? And I think gamification is going to play a big role in that, and technology is a part of enabling that. Our member platform, or the Sanlam portfolio app, for example, it's been streamlined right now to create a portfolio view for the member, for them to access every piece of benefit or product that they have across the Sanlam group. They now can view it over there and have a consolidated view of their products. And so the idea is then, how do we then insert a little bit more, amplify and lift out some of these technological advancement to make the member experience a little bit better and to facilitate their understanding and engagement with their employee benefits. And I think if we can do that and do that well, that's where you will start seeing real gains in charting a more confident future for our members.
Mologadi, thank you. That's quite interesting. And also, communication is such a crucial part of the overall process. As people near retirement, as we've got this two-pot thing coming up, and so on and so forth. So I think it plays a massive, massive role. And it's I like hearing what you say in terms of all the plans and things that you guys are rolling out. Even us in the media, can pick up on a lot of those things. We need to up the game as far as communication to members are concerned, because these are big decisions. These are decisions that's going to affect individuals for the rest of their life, and I think that plays a key role.
Absolutely, I agree, Chris, and I think that this needs to be a joint effort, right? We all have a role to play, especially from being a position of employee benefits providers, and as you said, the media as well, having that wide reach to make this information accessible. So if each one of us comes together from the position from which we stand and disseminate and share this knowledge, I think we can start to kind of carve out a different kind of future for the people, the working population of South Africa.
Exactly right. Mologadi, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. I think it's an important aspect we need to revisit from time to time, so I'm going to be pushing on your button in the next couple of months as we get closer, perhaps to two-pot, to maybe do a bit of a follow-up and see how we're progressing. It'd be nice to re-engage with you guys.
Absolutely. I look forward to it, Chris. Thank you for the opportunity.